Guys, this is Parm for ProBox Respect. Honoured to be here with Mr. Mark Peters.
Not about honoured, but it's good to be here anyway.
With his devilish good looks. Mr. Peters, guys, is renowned in the boxing circles. Newly appointed, I hear, sir,
right.
agent for Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah, we've got Leonard coming in November.
Yeah, Nigel Benn as well.
I've been with Nigel, I've been looking after Nigel for some time now, and we've got a new tour coming up. Nigel comes in about 4 weeks from now. 5 weeks, he's going to be here. We're going from the top right down to the bottom of the country. We're all over about 25 dates, I think. And then that finishes, I get 4 days off, and then Sugar Ray Leonard comes in, and then I'm rolling with a 10 to 12 date tour with Sugar Ray, and we're going national with that as well. So that's going to be a good tour. It's my first one where I've brought him in,
right? So
I'm quite excited about that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Mark, I should have said you're obviously very popular as a MC on the boxing circuit as well. I've been hearing that you're possibly fighting yourself in due course, aren't you? Tell me a bit more. Tell me about that, mate.
Well,
Come on. Don't be shy.
Listen, the old boy's been called out. I mean, I'm too old to be putting the gloves on again and doing it. You know, I did it when I was a lot younger, but
okay.
Basically, the only reason I've done it is the paramedic. It's a paramedic that's called me out. So if I do have any problems, at least I've got someone there to sort me out.
Yeah,
but I'm kind of hoping it'll be the other way around. He's raising money for a charity which is to do with Crohn's disease and people that have got serious problems.
Okay.
I'm actually now trying to raise money, and if there's anyone wants to help me with this, there's a little girl, she's out the East End of London, she's
right.
5.
Okay.
Her stepdad deliberately,
right.
dropped her on the floor, jumped on her back, she's paralysed. Not only paralysed,
disgusting,
she's lost the sight in one eye and she can hardly see out the other one. The little girl, all she does is smile. Right.
God bless.
Very, very sad. She was fostered by a lady. The lady was due to take her back. When she took her back, she went, can't do it.
Okay.
So she's lost her foster benefits, but she's adopted her now as her own daughter. She gets no money. She's just an ordinary East End lady, and I'm going to try and raise $4,000 for a winch to lift her in and out of her bed and lift her in and out of her car. Okay. She needs some help. So, you know,
well, let's hope more than $4,000. Mark, how can people reach out to you, mate?
Well, I'm fighting on the next Bad Boy show, which is on the 11th of November.
Yeah.
I should have the Benns in my corner, which would be quite interesting.
That'd be amazing.
Nigel and Connor will be on the outside. He's not allowed to be on the inside.
Okay.
But I'll be training. I've got the best trainer in the world. I've got Nigel Benn training me in the lead up to the fight, and I'm excited about it. I mean, you know, it's going to be for charity. I don't think either of us are going in there to try and kill one another. Sure. But you know, I do want to win, and you know, I've got that win spirit. I'm training hard for it.
Good.
Watching what I eat, and I've just had to cut down dramatically on the champagne.
And Mark, while we're here, big up to Chrissy Morton, Bad Boy Promotions.
Yeah.
And the numerous amazing trainers she supplies. You know,
she certainly does. I mean, she does. I mean, Chrissy, I've been with for over 10 years. I mean, she's
wow.
What's good about all of the promoters that are out there. I mean, I work with all of them. Chrissy, Bad Boy, has stuck with this white collar concept.
Yeah.
Her white collar boys are bankers, businessmen, what I call proper white collar people from London.
Yeah.
You get other promoters, like for example GBBU, who nurture people from early doors, and then they take them up, and it becomes a bit of a semi-pro thing. Where these guys want to take their vests off, they want to be videoed and look like they're pros and progress in that way. I actually think there's a little bit of a, what's the word I'm looking for? There's certainly a market for and a niche for young talent coming through, giving it a little go on what I call the Boxy Okie circuit.
Okay.
Rather than karaoke, the Boxy Okie circuit, just to see maybe if they're good enough to roll over into the pro ranks. I know the British Boxing Board of Control are very anti white collar. They're very anti a lot of these sort of what you call unlicensed pro, semi-pro scenarios. But let me tell you something, having worked on them for many, many years, I was a British Boxing Board of Control MC as well. I didn't renew my license as a what I call a professional MC with the board because I never got any work. The phone never rang. The promoters are few and far between out there on the smaller shows.
Yeah.
But this circuit of unlicensed and white collar earns me a living. You know, I'm out there 2, 3, 4 nights a week hosting, running, emceeing events. There's a lot of talent on this circuit. I mean, one young boxer particularly I'll draw your attention to is a guy called Michael Fonseca.
Okay.
He's a Cuban. Check him out. Let me tell you, one of the most talented young fighters I've seen in many, many years. He could come into the Matchroom stable and give those guys a run for their money in the sparring. I'm telling you now, he's very good.
Excellent. And there's really seems to be, as you said, with especially with Bad Boys, they've stuck through it for about a number of years, and there really seems to be a growing market for the white collar boxing, isn't it?
The good thing about white collar is that safety-wise, paramedics are there. There's a doctor there. People are checked. It used to be in the old days, even the ABA fights, the AIBA fights, which are, if you like, the Amateur Boxing Association and Amateur International Boxing Association, you know, they wouldn't have paramedics sometimes. There wouldn't be an ambulance out there.
Sure.
You know, you'd have some old doctor or even a retired doctor who I know actually oversees the health and the checks of these young lads going into the ring.
Right.
You know, but if one of them was to get knocked out clean and cold and bad and hard, like Michael Watson did, sometimes there's no oxygen at ringside on some of these amateur shows, and I think that's appalling. I think that they should have paramedics at every single amateur show with an ambulance outside. 100%, and that is not the case, and that I think is a they fall short there.
And sorry to use the old cliche.
Sorry to be opinionated, but
well, no, Mark, absolutely, and sorry to use the old cliche, but a split second can make all the difference.
Let me tell you, Michael Watson, there wasn't oxygen at ringside. If there had been, Michael Watson would be absolutely fine today.
Absolutely fine. Mark, just going to switch the conversation slightly back to your fight again. What can we expect from you, mate, on the fight night?
Now that'll be telling. I mean, when you get older, you lose your speed, you lose your agility. You're very upright, very stiffy. Now I've had to work very, very hard. I'm training. I train every day. So I train. By
the way, guys, he just keeps saying as you get older, he's fucking 35, really.
No, I'm not. I'm 55.
55.
Right? I'm 50.
He looks great for 55.
I'll be 56 when I meet this man who's a lot younger than me. But let me tell you, I'm gonna kick his ass. I am gonna kick his ass.
Mark, just finally to wrap up, what can we expect on the in terms of projects? What's in the pipeline for the future?
Well, we've got Sugar Ray Leonard and Nigel Benn lead up to this year. Obviously, the month of December goes quiet anyway.
Sure.
On the circuit that I do with the dinners, I've got links now with America, and I'm looking to bring in 1 or 2 names that have never been brought in before. But watch this space. I'd like to bring Duran in. Duran I've done tours with Duran before, but as many of you know, there's the movie out now, The Hands of Stone, and that was launched, I think, about 2 weeks ago. Robert De Niro plays the part of the trainer in the movie. That will be worth checking out. The Hands of Stone, that's the name of the movie. $20 million movie. So, and of course, it raises the profile of Sugar Ray Leonard, which obviously I'm very happy to be involved with. So, Duran for me, I'd like to bring Roberto in. One of the greatest fighters ever.
Absolutely.
And let me tell you, the only fighter ever to actually have boxed in 5 decades. Turned pro in the 60s, 68. Lied about his age. He was 16, I think, when he turned pro.
When he turned pro,
so
he
60s,
was,
70s, 80s, 90s. Retired in the year 2001. 33 years as a pro.
As a pro.
You know, and I think he'd have carried on as well.
Yeah.
So for me, Duran is special. I speak a little bit of Spanish, and I'm not great, but enough to get my face slapped.
I'll tell you what, mate. Recently, I come across a sparring video of Nigel Benn and Roberto Duran.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, he held his own.
I mean, at the time as well, Roberto was way past his best, but the two of them went at it. I mean, you're talking about 2 guys that were very attacking style fighters. You know, there wasn't a lot of they weren't thinking about not getting hit. These guys were just thinking about offloading. They're not thinking about trying to save goals. So when you get 2 warriors like that, it always makes for a good sparring session, and it always makes for people want to see that. You know, they want to. I mean, and what's interesting is I look after Nigel, but think about this. He was defeated by the other 3, Steve Collins, Eubank, Michael Watson. But guess who sells more tickets?
Nigel Benn.
The dinners, everybody wants to come and see Nigel because of the warrior.
Yeah.
People are attracted to the warrior,
Yeah.
not necessarily the winner.
Yeah.
They're also attracted to this warrior, and that's what they love about Nigel
Let's
Benn.
not forget Mark. He's to a lot of people, not only is he a boxing icon, but he's just like a normal guy. He'd just be like meeting one of your buddies, right? And that's the appeal about Nigel, I think, for a lot of people.
Nigel's like he's morphed into this new man. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, we're talking about a guy that, you know, in his early years, you know, I mean, the man was a bit of a handful, you know. And in the East End of London, he was a very troubled young man, you know,
Yeah.
and he went through, you know, that anger. I think it stems, when I've interviewed him, from the fact that he did lose one of his brothers.
Yeah.
And that anger stayed with him pretty much all the way through his fight career. He's a born-again Christian now, but he's still got that, there's still that little streak there.
Is it? Yeah,
That
you can
never
see
goes.
It. No, of
That
course
never
not. He's a born fighter.
But he, you know, we speak, he lives in Australia now. He's
Yeah.
coming over October the 12th. And
Yeah.
I'm actually looking forward to 5 weeks on the road with Nigel. We bicker,
Yeah.
and we sit there
Cool.
driving around the country, listening to all the old classic soul, a bit of Alexander O'Neill and Luther Vandross, and we sit there, fat back band, and we go up and down the country
yeah.
singing, and we just have so much fun. So, you know,
Mark,
it's
listen,
good.
I appreciate your time today. All the best for today and for your forthcoming fight. I just want to say, for somebody who's like myself, who's got a little bit of a passion, mate, you're an inspiration for me as well. So thank you for your time today.
No, listen, my pleasure, and you know, everybody, look after yourselves. Remember one saying in boxing, and take this through your life, right? Your greatest glories consist not in falling, but in rising every time you fall. That means that you're going to go through your life getting knocked back now and again, but it's the true fighter that comes back. And if you can carry on going through your life with that mentality of when you fall, you get back up, that will see you well through your life. That's what I believe in, and it carries me through.
Good stuff. God bless, Mark, and I'll see you soon, mate. Take care.
My pleasure. Thank you.